tonight's opening kickoff as Curtis will kick the ball off to Shaw. 3 losses between these football teams a year ago, and the ball is kicked out of bounds. Yeah. And a penalty marker goes down, and on the first play of the season here between Shaw and Curtis, we have a penalty marker down to the opening kickoff. Last year, 12-2, the record of Shaw, 13-1 for Curtis under head coach J.T. Curtis. There's the call, legal procedure. And it'll be Shaw football here to start this game. Nice crowd is gathered here at Tad Gormley Stadium. And, Gerald, this should be a heck of a football game tonight. We'll see Shaw on offense for the first time.
Sure will, Steve. First and 10 for the Eagles. They'll take advantage of the ball at the 35. Good field position and a good opportunity for Chiron Carey and a brand-new offense for the Shaw Eagles as they hit away towards a more running attack.
And a pass on the game's first play from Carey, and the ball is incomplete. Intended for Ronald Bellamy, who we featured on our pregame, the 6'1", 180-pound senior, and the ball deflected away along the near sideline after the quarterback, Carey, fired the ball as far as he could down the right sideline. There's the quarterback, Sharon Carey, the 5'9", 170-pound junior, firing a pass from the game's first play, only being knocked away, intended for Bellamy.
Well, that's one way to have a baptism by fire. Bring you right out like that as the junior. Tries to hit the streak in Bellamy down the right-hand sideline. Incomplete. Shaw will put it in play.
Here's Carey on the option to the left. Has some running room to the 40, up to midfield. Down to the 40. He's got more room. Down to the 20, to the 15, 10. And he's going all the way for the touchdown. On the game's second offensive play for Shaw. The Eagles go all the way on the option as Carey kept the ball, went to the left and scored the first 6 points.
Chiron Carey, of course, he did it last year, the third running back on this team, but he had an average of over 10 yards a carry. Steve, this is a guy who can break it and go big. Watch the movement on the Shaw offensive line as the play goes left. Nothing but a lot of green in front of Carey. One cut right there, and the speed you will not catch that youngster from behind as he just uses the angles and dances into the end zone for the early lead.
And a 6-0 Shaw lead with the extra point attempt coming up here. Just 22 seconds into the football game. Shaw is on the board first on a long run by the quarterback, Carey. Here's the extra point attempt, and it's up, and it is perfect. And Shaw will take the lead by a score of 7-0 as they strike quickly here in the first quarter. 7-0, Shaw leads Curtis with 11:38 left in the first quarter of play. And we'll come back after the Chino High School football game of the week. Here's the kickoff after the opening drive and the touchdown by Shaw, and Curtis will bring the football back to near the 20-yard line and take over first down and 10. Boy, Gerald, some explosive action here in the first few minutes of the game, and now we'll see Curtis on offense for the first time, and Coach J.T. Curtis is counting on 2 quarterbacks this year, but here starting things is Danny Wimprine.
Yeah, and Terry Stevens, he's a guy, a smaller guy, quicker guy, and Wimprine, as you mentioned, he's a guy that went all week last week at the Jamboree. Big, strong kid. He'll break some tackles for you.
There you look at the offensive line for the Patriots, and a big player is Zapata there at the tackle position. First down and 10 for the Patriots from the 20-yard line. Split backfield behind the quarterback, and a handoff right up the middle. About a 5-yard gain as Curtis sticks to the ground on the first play of the game offensively. That ball carried by Colt Coletti on the game's first play from scrimmage. There's the defensive line for Shaw that Curtis will be moving up the field against. Neville, McGee, King, and White. There's Creep, Robisky, and Ward, the middle, and the other linebackers for Shaw. It's Greg Brooks. He's a good one. Chase Dardar, J.P. Rhodes, and Henry Johnson in the secondary. It's second down and 5 from the 25. And the quarterback, Wimprine, hands off, and little or no gain there as the middle of that Shaw defense makes the save.
And that's going to be one of the key matchups in this game will be the front line of Shaw going against that offensive line of John Curtis. Of course, the offensive line, Steve, for John Curtis, one of the strong points of the team year in and year out. On this Shaw defense, 3 of the 4 defensive linemen are returning starters, so that is really the strength of their defense as they push it up front and they go up against that Curtis line. We'll see how they can stuff the run because this is a running team. John Curtis will just run it right at you.
Loss of 1 on the last play, 3rd and 6, and the quarterback Wimprine carries the ball to near first down yardage. Had an option there with 2 running backs split behind him on the 3rd down play, but decided to carry the ball and move it up to near over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's what Wimprine can do for you. You saw the strength right there. Did you look at the replay right here? That was probably a play that might have lost a yard, might have gained a yard. Instead, Wimprine right there breaking a tackle as he just keeps churning forward. He ends up picking up a first down for the Patriots, and they'll put it in play just outside of their own 30-yard line.
Patriots cheerleaders rooting them on to a first down, the initial first down for the Patriots. And a running play right up the middle to the 50, down to the 45-yard line, and past that as Curtis gets the ball and picks up some big yardage by Eric Favorite, the 5'10" senior.
Favorite in there, just an inside trap, Steve, and the Eagles got caught going the wrong way. Credit the interior line of Curtis blocking away. Nobody home for Shaw right in the middle of the field, and Favorite is just got the easy job of running straight ahead, and it'll be another first down.
Favorite on the running play, another first down play. And here's another fake of a handoff, and on the option, it's the quarterback keeping the ball and carrying inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Wimprine again on the carry. So he's carried the ball on a couple of occasions here on this first drive down the field.
And, of course, last year, one of the things that marked the game between these two teams in a 28-18 Shaw victory was the fact that Curtis had 3 opportunities down near the Shaw goal line in the first quarter. They were turned away all 3 times. And that's something I'm sure that the Patriots would like to do, is to try to gain the equalizer here and get a little offensive momentum themselves.
Here's the second down and 5-yard carry right up the middle on a dive play. Short yardage there. It'll be a 3rd down play coming up for the Curtis Patriots. Pete Watson on the carry that time.
Nothing fancy about this. Straight ahead running. And actually looked like he was tripped by his own man, as it'll be a short opportunity to pick up first down.
There's Wimprine coming out. Again, we might see him share the quarterbacking duties with the 5'9" senior Terry Stevens tonight, but it's Wimprine down the field now on a 3rd and 2. In a split backfield, wide receivers out wide and right. Wimprine with the ball, carries, has the first down, gets near the 30-yard line. So Wimprine on 3 occasions on this drive down the field carries the ball. Brooks on the tackle, and Brooks is a guy you'll hear a lot about, an outstanding defensive player, a corner for the last 2 years, and now playing the free safety role.
Yeah, Brooks was right there to make the tackle, not before Wimprine picked up the first down. But Brooks, the best secondary player. That's what Shaw traditionally does with their secondary. They'll put their best secondary player at that free safety spot, and that's the spot Brooks is occupying right there. He's already gone to Tulane next year, already committed to the Green Wave.
7:48 left in the first quarter. Shaw scored on their first possession of the game. Now Curtis driving down the field, and Wimprine on the handoff as they go to the 30-yard line. Coletti with another carry, the 5'10" junior. Short yardage right up the middle, brings up a 2nd down and 8.
Of course, the Shaw Eagles coming off a season last year, Steve, 12-2, 5-1 during their district play. The Curtis Patriots, well, they were 6-0 in their district play. They were the state champs. Their only loss last year coming to Shaw. Of course, they won the state championship 21-6 against Eunice, the only team last year in the playoffs to score against the Patriots coming in the finals.
On 2nd down and long from the 30, there's the pitch back, and it comes to Favorite, and he has a favorite spot, so to speak, running down the left sideline before he's knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. So they've been moving the ball up the middle of the field. Now pitch back to Favorite. He gets some good yardage.
I tell you, that's what makes this Curtis running veer attack so special, is the fact, look at the way they're stacked up this year. They've got 4 running backs that can all essentially do the same thing. They don't lose much when they go from one to the other. Favorite, one of those guys, Trey Patterson, Pete Watson, and Colt Coletti. We've called a couple of those names already tonight. And you don't lose much when you go from one to the other, and that can be successful, especially in the second half.
Chris Creeth, the linebacker, in on the stop, and now Wimprine wants to pass and fires it along the right side. The pass is caught at the 8-yard line, and the receiver is driven out of bounds. And Curtis has some great yardage on that as Woodward, the exciting tight end, who caught a lot of passes a year ago in an offense that really produces a lot of catches from the tight end, gets some yardage there, the ball within the 10-yard line. And let's see where they place the ball. It's just outside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. Woodward can catch. He can also run after he brings in the ball. Did the fundamentally right thing there, and it'll be a second down and short yardage for the Patriots, who are mounting a drive here of their own.
And 9 yards on that play, and the quarterback, Wimprine, back to pass, fires, and that's a touchdown. Curtis on the board on their first possession of the season. Woodward catches the ball, catching 2 on that drive, and now the Patriots within a point with 6:11 left in the first quarter.
Woodward to the right, Woodward to the left. Wimprine right on target both times. Turns, cocks, good protection as he lays it out. Woodward with only one man to beat and does it as he waltzes into the end zone for the score.
And that player is the free safety, Greg Brooks, on the coverage. He beat him cleanly. And now the Patriots within a point of a 7-7 score here. And here is Jason Stewart, the 6'1" senior, on the extra point. Try and get Patriots even, and he will do that. The kick is perfect, and the score is all deadlocked. It's 7-7 here at the halfway mark of the first quarter. So both teams have scored on their first offensive possession. We'll see what happens next. We're coming back after this break. You're listening to the WHNO High School Football Game of the Week. Seven with 6:11 to go in the first quarter. Curtis, who just scores on a touchdown pass from Wimprine to Woodward, will kick off. And Shaw will catch the ball at the 10-yard line. And he will bring it back to the 20, up to the 25-yard line before he's dragged up and actually pushed back to just outside the 20-yard line. And Sam Joseph, the ball carrier, he's a freshman at 5'11", 165 on the kickoff return.
Well, there's 2 ways to do it. Steve, you can go 2 plays like Shaw did and pick up 7 points, or you can go 11 plays like Curtis did and pick up the same 7. Curtis grinding out 80 yards, taking 5:22 off the clock. That's a massive drive in high school sports. Anytime you take 5:22 off the clock, that's an impressive ball control drive by John Curtis. We're knotted up at 7 here, with each team having 1 offensive opportunity.
And Sharon Carey, who was actually a running back a year ago, back to pass. Has some running room, will take off with the football and get across the 30-yard line before he's dragged down. Looks like enough for a first down on a big running play by the junior quarterback.
And that's a design running play right there. A straight drop back. He'll tuck it under and take it off. And because of the last completion down to Bellamy, the Curtis defense has to respect the passing of Sharon Carey. That's what opened up the middle right there. And Carey just scampered straight ahead for a first down.
And Curtis on the tackle for the Patriots. It'll be first down and 10 from the 33-yard line in the 7-all score. And in motion, the quarterback pitching back over a 30-yard line, and he's now pushed back as he tried to get back to the line of scrimmage, and then pushed back by a host of tacklers from the Patriots, and it'll be second down and long.
Not a lot of offense right there for Shaw, but an excellent decision by Sharon Carey to pitch that ball. The youngster showing some good judgment there to release that ball and pick up a 1-yard gain instead of possibly a 1 or 2 yard loss on the play.
Gerald, we mentioned Carey and his ability to be a quarterback this year after he was a running back a season ago. Carey, very highly thought of by his coaching staff, and Hank Tierney counting on him for some big things in this season. He goes back to pass, fires one, and it's knocked down, but a penalty marker down, and this is apparently going to be an interference call at the 46-yard line as the Curtis defender, Nick Brown, is one of their top defensive players, makes the hit, but also made some contact.
Well, and you can see the nice tight spiral here from Carey as he drops back and tosses this one. Almost looked like good coverage right there, but you saw that right arm over the back of the intended receiver, Bellamy, and that's what drew the flag. And it is pass interference, and that'll be an automatic first down for the Shaw Eagles, who are advancing the ball through the air. And we expected to see a lot of running in this game. That's what Curtis has done so far. Of course, the touchdown coming on a pass from Wimprine. But the majority of that 80-yard drive coming on the ground, now we see Shaw move. Their significant movement early on in this contest has been through the air, both penalty and through a completion.
And the passing has been successful on both sides so far. The interference penalty, again, first down, 10 from the 49-yard line. And the quarterback fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and moves across the midfield stripe down to about the 46-yard line. That time, the Shaw quarterback, Carey, faked the handoff, kept the ball himself, and was brought down by Paulin. And that's going to make a second down and 10-yard situation, 2nd and 6.
Carey, 5'9", 170, the junior. He can get lost in the middle of that line. That's part of what the Shaw offensive coordinator likes, is to get him in there, get him running between the tackles, and see if he can dash out, lose sight for him just a moment. He's so quick that if you don't keep your eye on him, you won't pick him up until he's 5 yards down the field.
Wide receivers out right and left, and Carey wants to throw it deep along the left sideline, and that ball is going to be knocked away. The defensive coverage on the play knocked the wide receiver out. And that was the defensive player, John Kelly, on the stop defensively, who had good position on the intended receiver. 4:09 left in the first quarter. The game is tied 7-7. This game is being brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent, full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal. Find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it is picking up. Timeout on the field. We're going to keep it here as Shaw is on the attack after the incomplete pass. 3rd down and 6 for the Eagles at the 47-yard line. And, Gerald, just as we expect a close game here, 2 teams that have lost only a total of 3 games between them a season ago, and both teams with aspirations to making it back to the respective state championship games this year. And here's just some of the excitement generated by this season-opening affair.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you've got 2 of the best coaches in not only the metro area, but 2 of the best coaches in the state. J.T. Curtis, his 30th year, 326 wins, 40 losses, and 6 ties over his storied career. Hank Tierney in his 16th year, 146 wins and 36 losses. These are definitely 2 deans of the local sports scene.
And, Gerald, this game being brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributor of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company, one of our great sponsors on this high school football game of the week. It's 3rd down and 6 for Shaw. 7-7 with 4:09 remaining in the first quarter play. And Shaw with their 2nd offensive possession of this first quarter. Have a wide receiver split out right and 1 out left.
Excuse me, Steve. It's just an interesting call right here on 3rd and about 6.
And there goes Carey back to throw. Runs out of the pocket, is tripped up. As he tried to maneuver for a 1st down, was tripped up close to it. And it's going to be a 4th down play coming up for Shaw. He darn near made it.
Cornell Bazile right there, the inside tackle, caught him just at the last second as he was dancing out. Once again, Carey drops back, and that's a design in order to bring the linebackers up to give him a chance to run. And you can see the tackle right there, actually number 40 coming up. Paulin coming up to make the stop from the inside linebacker spot, reading it well, and on 4th and short, Shaw will be forced to punt.
And our first punt of this game. On 4th and 6, a low snap from center, and the ball is kicked to the 10-yard line, and there will be a return as the Patriots return it up the right side, 30, 35, 40, up to near midfield, and what a run back by the Patriots. Albert Bowes, the 5'9" freshman. He tried to high hurdle the last tackler who would have brought him down, which he did, but gets by him at the touchdown. So a TD saving tackle for Shaw.
45-yard punt return, and you can see he cuts right in front of his own player, takes the ball away at the last second. And like the coaches will tell you, if you're going to do something like that, you better do something with the ball, and he did. Coming down the near side of the field, hurdling Helton right there, the punter, and finally tracked down from behind. The Shaw staff on the sideline wanted a clip. No call on the play.
So it's Patriots ball, and as you know, they scored on their first possession of the opening quarter on a touchdown pass from Wimprine to the tight end Woodward. Come out with a split backfield, receivers out right and left, and a handoff right up the middle will get them about 2 or 3 yards. There's a loose football. Shaw is claiming they've recovered it, but no whistle and no indication of a loose ball, so it stays in the possession of the Patriots.
This is where it turns for Shaw. Hank Tierney saying that one of the things they need to do is come up with defensive stops. Give their offense an opportunity. Put the ball in the hands of Bellamy and Carey. Let them do some things on offense, but the defense has to keep up its end of the bargain. They can't have long, protracted drive like the last time Curtis was out there. Shaw's got to come up with the defensive stop. They don't have a lot of room to play with as the Patriots are already in Eagle territory.
Wimprine on a quick hitting play right up the middle. Didn't take long to get the snap from center and hand off to the running back, who got a couple of yards, but it's still going to be third down and pretty long yardage for the Patriots here. Ball has been moved down to the 41-yard line with 2:20 left in the first quarter. So let's see what J.T. Curtis and the Patriots have up their sleeves here in this first quarter third down play.
Well, obviously, if you're Shaw right now, you've got to be thinking about the tight end, Woodward. That's been a successful play through the air right now, and on 3rd and 5, that's certainly a possibility.
Wimprine barks out the signals, and there's 3rd and 5. He'll keep the ball. It's loose. Scramble for it. Picked up and rolled out of bounds. And that deflects off Pete Watson's hands out of bounds. And in one area, Gerald, you can say they were very fortunate not to have that ball picked up by the Shaw defender because there was a lot of open field down the right sideline.
Sure was, but the important thing there for the Eagles, they hold on the play. It'll be 4th down. Curtis will be forced to punt. And the problem with that offensive play was not just the fumble. Credit the penetration by the Eagles.
And the play is whistled down as they attempt to punt on the 4th down and 6th play. Bishop blows the whistle, and we'll see who it's coming up against. Going to be an illegal motion penalty, and it's called against the Patriots, so they'll push them back 5 more yards. And the line of scrimmage will be the 46.5-yard line in the Shaw end of the field. As they get set for the punt.
Sean Weber back deep for the Eagles along with Chiron Carey. You don't see your quarterback on the 5A level. Sometimes you'll see it on some of the lower levels, 2A and 3A, single A, but on the 5A level, you don't see your quarterback dropping back to field punts a lot of time. That's a testament to the outstanding athleticism that Chiron Carey possesses.
No, you don't. Here's the punt away. And it's a good one. It'll be fielded down to the 12-yard line. Taken and up the middle. Some running room on this punt return. And the kick returner is back to the 40-yard line for Shaw. Sean Weber, the senior running back at 5'9", 165, found a little seam there and moved the ball right up the middle of the field and then brought down near the 40-yard line.
27-yard punt return, and Carey instructing Weber right there on the left-hand side of your screen. You could see him telling him to fielding the punt. Almost dangerous there as the Patriot Blue were closing down on him, but excellent vision by Weber as he brings it back up the field and puts Shaw in good shape just shy of the 40-yard line.
Emil Gant, the senior linebacker, in on the stop. It's the first down play for the Eagles. Garrett back to pass, in trouble, and he's knocked down and hit behind the line of scrimmage. He looked one way, looked the other way, Gerald, and had no running room whatsoever, and it's a loss. Some great penetration there by the Patriot defense.
Saw a lot of Cornell Bazile right there as he looked one way and looked the other way, Steve. Didn't see much more than blue jerseys as the offensive line. All new starters this year for Shaw. They graduated their entire offensive line last year, and you can see right there, Bazile's right there, and also credit Paulin as well coming in from his linebacker spot.
Paulin's been in a few stops here in this first quarter, which has just 35 seconds remaining in it. In a tie game at 7-7, and Carey will bring them out. Receivers split out far to the left and one out to the right. A single setback behind the quarterback, Carey, who's in motion, pitches back, and the play will gain a little bit of yard. Only a second effort there by Shaw. Gets him an extra yard or two. That's the fullback, Chris Coleman, the 6'2" junior on the carry. He would have been stopped, but he followed ahead and got an extra yard or two, but it still brings up 3rd and long, 3rd and 15.
And that was all extra effort on his part. It looked like the Curtis defensive line really got a good surge. They were covering the corner, got skated to the outside, were able to lock up well, and it looked like a couple of the Shaw blockers might have given up just a little early, and that allowed the Patriots to push back even further. But as you mentioned, extra effort picked up a yard or two.
Saw Jason Knight, the defenseman lineman, in reporting for the Patriots. There's a whistle as play has expired, and time has in the first quarter. Our score, Shaw 7, and the Curtis Patriots 7 after 1 quarter. We'll come back with the second quarter after this. You're watching the WHNO High School Football Game of the Week. You got the power. Just let it go. You've been hurt before. Nobody. There is Carey on the first play of the second quarter with a big gain, trying to throw the ball downfield, elected to run with it, and gets near the right sideline, right in front of the Shaw bench. That won't be enough, though, for a first down. They had a lot of yardage to pick up, but a good run nonetheless by the quarterback.
Well, that's what you do with the Curtis defense, taking care of business early. They put Shaw in that 3rd and 15 situation. As you mentioned, a 10-yard plus gain for Carey, but not enough for the first down. We'll see Helton once again with the punt.
And the punt is away, and Helton will kick a short one, which will take a bounce to the 30, down to the 10, down to the 5-yard line.
That ball's live.
And
Look out.
Curtis is going to get it along with Shaw.
Shaw's got it.
Near the 1-yard line.
Shaw's got it. First down. Bad decision by the Curtis back going to receive the punt. It was over his head. He tracked it down, touched it, and Shaw's going to have it 1st and goal down at the 1-yard line.
A big, big opportunity, Gerald. Here's the replay as the ball takes the bounce once it lands at the 25-yard line.
Clearly touching it inside of the 10-yard line. That ball is live at that point. Shaw players know it. 3 of them surrounding the ball. Finally smothering it and coming up with it is number 7 for the Eagles.
Now it's Mike Ganji going back to try and come up with it. It bounced off his hand.
And Chase Dardar gets the recovery. 1st and goal from inside the 1 for the Eagles.
A big break. Not too many turnovers yet in this game, but this one could be costly to the Patriots. 1st down and goal, and a quarterback sneak is in for a touchdown as Carey and Shaw take advantage of the turnover and the miscue, and early in the second quarter, go ahead by 6 points.
What a change of momentum. Curtis had stopped Shaw, forced Shaw into a punting situation, and instead, the Eagles come away with 6 points.
And some good straight-ahead blocking there by the center and left guard, and all Carey had to do was just leap over his 2 offensive linemen into the end zone to put the Eagles ahead 13-7. And now the extra point attempt is forthcoming. Here is Jeremy Helton. And the kick is up, and it is good. And it's 14-7 after the turnover on the punt receiving attempt. Shaw takes it in on the quarterback sneak.
Yeah, and the extra point there by Helton. He's not going to miss too many of them. As a matter of fact, setting a Shaw record last year, 75 extra points as the offensive unit last year racked up 602 team points. He'll be your guy on the short yardage field goals and the extra points. He's not going to miss many, and he's hit 2 tonight. Helped Shaw to a 14-7 lead.
P.F. Chang's China Bistro is at the corner of Veteran and Severn, and Metairie has it all. Service, location, ambiance, and most importantly, quality food. Succulent appetizers include the Chang's chicken or vegetables and soothing lettuce wrap and the Peking raviolis. Main course staples are the Chang's spicy chicken, orange peel shrimp, and the Dan Dan noodles. Top off your complete meal with a decadence cheesecake or the pear tort. Let P.F. Chang's knowledgeable staff make recommendations, share some dishes, and savor a total dining experience. Visit Ken Trahan's favorite restaurant, P.F. Chang's China Bistro, open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. weekdays and 11 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday at the corner of Veterans Boulevard and Severn.
If it's Ken's favorite restaurant, does he wait on you?
He does, because I'm there quite often. Here's the kickoff by the Eagles. With 11:36 remaining in the second quarter, Shaw's just taking the lead 14-7, and the run back all the way back to the 25-yard line. And Curtis will have position as the run back is taken by Ganji, and he gets them out past the 20 to the 25-yard line. So Curtis now with possession down by 7.
And, of course, if you're the Patriots, you want to come in right here and establish the momentum that you got early in the game. As you had your 80-yard drive, you want to reclaim the momentum in this game and establish yourself offensively, as Wimprine has gone all the way through the first quarter and into the second quarter here. We've yet to see the quarterback switch.
Wimprine goes back to pass and fires it along the near sideline, intended for the tight end Woodward. That pass is incomplete. Now, how important is this tight end in the Patriots offense? Well, the tight ends have caught 21 of the last 22 seasons, actually led the Patriots in receiving, so that's why we see him going to the tight end once again.
An excellent defensive read that time by Greg Brooks, the free safety, the senior, 6'0", 175. Got a good break on the ball. That's a 3-year starter for you, having the vision right there to knock that ball incomplete. Otherwise, it would have been another completion to the tight end.
And Woodward, a 3-sport star besides football, basketball, and track. Here's a passing play, and Wimprine throws it as far as he can all the way down the field. Incomplete, intended at the 30-yard line as Curtis tried to go deep. And the wide receiver, Terry Stevens, who, by the way, can do a little bit of quarterbacking.
Well, Wimprine got the matchup he wanted down the near side, one-on-one. He had his receiver open, just overshot him just a little bit. Nice setup in the pocket, good cock. Had a little pressure there towards the end, but launched a nice tight spiral that was just a little overthrown. There was a little daylight between the Eagle defender and his intended target, Stevens, but it'll be 3rd and 10 for Curtis. And after that last Shaw score for Curtis, you don't want to go 3 and out. They need to convert this 3rd down conversion here.
3rd and 10. Deep in their own territory, Wimprine fakes a pass, being rushed, scrambles out of there and throws down the right sideline, incomplete. And the closest player there for Patriots was Brandon Williams, the 5'10" junior, but he wasn't that close to come up with a football.
A couple of the Shaw defenders flushing Wimprine out of the pocket. He's got a little movement on his feet as he can move around and take care of himself out there. That's kind of a big guy, but as you can see, he's got some mobility and did the wise thing, just throwing the ball away to allow his defense to set up after the punt.
And here comes the punt, Gerald, on 4th down and 10 from the 25. And there's a whistle probably in the seats here. A big crowd here at Tad Gormley Stadium. The ball will roll down to the 26-yard line. And that's where Shaw will take over after having scored on their previous possession.
1st and 10 for the Eagles, and they'd like to get out there and mount some offensive momentum of their own as they came up with a good special teams play, and they were able to capitalize on it. Of course, this Eagle offense, new this year, switching to an option offense. That's really to feature the skills of quarterback Chiron Carey. We'll talk about that option offense after this.
Yeah, the WHNO High School Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors, by Prime Equipment, by Radiophone, and by River Parish Disposal. It's 1st down and 10 from the 26-yard line for Shaw, who have lost a lot of starters on this offensive side. So one of the question is, can they compete? Do they have the people that can get the job done, replace those graduated offensive stars from a year ago? There's a big run up to near the 35 and across the 35-yard line for some big yardage gain on 1st down.
Excellent surge there by Chris Coleman, the fullback. He played linebacker last year, and you can see on this play, he's got a linebacker mentality, lowering his shoulder, keeps those legs churning, did not hit the ground with his knee, fell on top of a Curtis player, and kept moving along. It'll be close to a 1st down.
Just kept on trucking there as he gets yardage up to the 36-yard line. That's where it's 2nd down and 1. A gain of 9 on the previous play. There's a counter play, and it's up the middle of the 40, 1st down. Running back gets it, and will get up to the 46-yard line as Shaw gets some big yardage there on a run by Sean Weber.
This option offense featuring the skills of Carey. Last year, 2 backs, 2 receivers. That's how it's been throughout Tierney's 15 years previous that he's coached this Shaw team. This year, 3 running backs, 1 receiver. It's really similar, this offense, to a wishbone, but with a couple of wingbacks and a fullback. Kind of like you get the best of a wing T with the angles, but it's got option principles. So they call it the Army set. They ran it a little last year, and it's hopefully going to have some success for them this year.
A quick hitter up the middle over the 45-yard line and then push backwards. So not much yardage on that running play.
Called the Army set because actually this is the offense that Army runs. A lot of the service academy schools run this offense where the quarterback is featured. A lot of times you'll see a quarterback of a service academy towards the top of the nation in rushing, and this is a position that Shaw hopes that Chiron Carey will be in. They used it almost exclusively last year in their 35-13 win against Destrehan, but last year, a couple of years ago actually, an Army Tulane game, Hank Tierney saw something he liked, went to the offensive coordinator, Ed Werner, over at Army, got the details, got the playbook, and put it in place.
Well, there's the option, and the quarterback, Carey, will keep the football and run out of bounds across midfield, across the 45-yard line.
And, of course, none of this works unless the quarterback's making good decisions. And Chiron Carey made a good decision right there. As he tucked the ball under and brought it up the field, he'll be very close to a 1st down. As you see, no one behind him. So what does he do? He steps up, instincts take over, and he's off to the races. With that speed, that'll help make up for any mistakes you might make.
He's tough to bring down to the open field. Finally ran out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Patriots. 8:53 left in the 1st half. Shaw 14 and Curtis 7. And Shaw on the move. As we see this big crowd here. The opener for both these teams. Both winners in last week's Jamboree. And, of course, last year, Shaw defeated Curtis and stopped a long win streak. Short yardage gain there on the third down play. They only needed about a yard, and they got that. So a first down for the Eagles.
Weber keeping the ball. Carey keeping the ball, going straight ahead. That's how they scored the last touchdown on the quarterback sneak, and the chains will move with 8:45 left here in this first half and a 14-7 Eagle lead.
Out they come on the first down play. Weber out wide to the left. And the man in motion, and the quarterback Carey with a quick hitter doesn't get very much as the middle portion of the Patriots defensive line comes up with the stop, and coming up with a football there. At least he thinks he has, but nothing of that is Steve Curtis, the junior, outside linebacker.
And it'll be second down. The Eagles will retain possession of it. No gain on the play. Good defensive surge. Look at the linebackers reading this play immediately and coming up to make the hit. You do see the ball loose right there, but the official ruling it down on the play.
Oh, it's second down and 10. No yardage gained on that play. Here come the Eagles under head coach Hank Tierney. Back to pass is Carey. Looks long and looks deep. Double coverage, and the pass is complete. Down at the 3-yard line, and what a heck of a catch for Ronald Bellamy, who caught the ball between two defenders.
42-yard completion. I tell you, the senior's making the junior look good. Bad decision by Carey to throw that one into double coverage. Good play by Ronald Bellamy to go up and get that ball. Look at the concentration. It's good protection here as well from this young offensive line, or I should say this inexperienced Eagle offensive line, protecting their quarterback. Carey just lays it up. Jump ball. Bellamy goes up, brings it down, and that's why he's a major college prospect.
No question about that. Timed his leap perfectly, and now on the running play, a touchdown as Sean Weber carries it into the end zone to extend the Eagle lead to 20-7. They did it with some passing and some running.
Well, this is supposed to be a down year for Shaw, as they've lost a lot of players. But, of course, as they get used to on the West Bank, they don't go down much. They just reload and wait for another year. The guys that step into the position have so much talent and have so much experience in the backup role that they can fit into the starting lineup rather easily, and you haven't seen much of a drop-off as Shaw's about to go on top by 14 points.
And here is Helton with the extra point attempt for the Eagles. Snap is good, and the kick is going to be good as well. That was close as the defensive line came in, but they got the extra point and lead 21-7 with 7:22 left in the second quarter. We'll return with more of our coverage from Tad Gormley Stadium after this. Off after scoring on a long drive. They marched down the field to extend their lead to 21-7. 7:22 left in the second quarter. Steve Carroll with Gerald Duhan here from Tad Gormley Stadium. And there's the kickoff after the touchdown run by Weber. And the Patriots will get it and bring it up the other way. Ganji with the football. Has some room. He's up to the 40, 45, 50. And with one man to beat, it's dragged down from behind as he crossed the 50-yard line. Daniel Neville on the stop.
Wow, what a role special teams has played so far in this one. A mistake by the Curtis special teams setting up a Shaw score. Now an excellent return by the Curtis kickoff return unit, and that'll put them in a position of a 45-yard kick return. That puts them in Shaw's territory. That last scoring drive for Shaw, 8 plays, 74 yards.
Now Wimprine on a first down play for the Patriots. As they march down the field, he'll keep the football, have some running room to his right, crossing the 40-yard line, and he's brought down by Chris Creeth, the linebacker. Gerald, we just talked about special teams. One of the reasons why this program at Curtis has been so successful is the outstanding play of the special teams. Second down and 3, the ball on the 40-yard line.
And, of course, that's always a sign of good coaching. Special teams is the area of the game that's easy to ignore. You're always worried about offense and defense, but that always shows a coaching staff that's highly organized, one that can field a good special teams. Both these squads do that.
Second down play from the 40. Wimprine will keep the ball, has some room to his right, crossing the 35, has the first down. And Wimprine's been successful here. This time been knocked down by John Paul Rhodes, a 6'2" junior. But he's finding some room there as he keeps the ball this time.
Straight down the line of scrimmage. he can either pitch it or turn it up the field, makes the correct decision, turning it up the field, and it'll be 1st and 10 for John Curtis.
And out they come. Been a good first half of football here as we reach the halfway point of quarter number 2. 28 points, 21 belong to the defensive team, the Eagles, right now. And there is a quick hitter up the middle as Wimprine handed it off this time. And some yardage right up the middle. The tackle made by the middle of that Shaw defensive unit, but some yardage gained on the run play.
Trey Patterson with the run right there, but I'm going to be curious to see how this running game of the Patriots fares as this contest goes along, with Patterson in favor, Pete Watson and Colt Coletti all rotating in. 4 guys rotating in to help run this Veer offense.
That should be fresh when they come in there as Wimprine barks out the signals on a 2nd down and 5 play. Takes the handoff, that pitch is back, and a running play across the 10 down to the 5 goes Trey Patterson, the junior, big yardage, and here come the Patriots right back down the field.
Vintage Patriot Veer offense right there, coming to the near sideline. Wimprine pitching the ball out, and an excellent read and an excellent cut by his back to bring the ball down the field.
And John Paul Rhodes on the tackle, and there's the running play, and he just about got into the end zone that time.
You could see Wimprine waiting, bringing the defenders to him before he released the ball on the pitch. That's what opened up the daylight.
Now it's 1st down and goal from the 5. Wimprine looks over the defense. Put backfield behind him, receiver out far to the left. And there's a loose ball, evidently, and it's still being dragged down, and Wimprine is pushed back all the way to the 15-yard line. And, Gerald, we couldn't tell from up here, but there might have been a little fumble there, the ball loose.
There sure was a fumble on the play, Stephen. Curtis coming up with the ball, averting disaster once again with another turnover as they're coming down to potentially score. You could see Wimprine's strength right there as he just took the ball away from an Eagle defender and held on, absorbing some punishment as he lost yardage on the play. But more importantly, the Patriots will keep possession of the ball.
Watson, the original ball carrier, and then finally Wimprine winds up with it. So it's a 1st down and 15 as the ball is pushed back further away from the Eagle goal line. And Wimprine goes back to pass this time, looking over the middle, and the ball is almost intercepted at the goal line. A pass almost picked off by Henry Johnson. He had it in his hands, but couldn't hold on.
Ball a little underthrown here as Wimprine drops back. Pretty good protection, feeling the heat late, sets up and just can't get it to his intended receiver, throwing it right behind him, in and out of the Eagles' hands, and it'll be a 3rd down, so a couple of turnovers averted on back-to-back plays by John Curtis.
Wimprine looking over to the sideline, Coach J.T. Curtis, and they come in with a play on 3rd and 15. Not far to the left is Stevens. And again, split backfield behind the quarterback. Dual handoff right up the middle and some very short yardage on 3rd and 15. Watson got the handoff from Wimprine. So it's going to be a 4th down play coming up, and they'll send out Jason Stewart.
Yeah, on 3rd and goal from the 15, Curtis elects to play it safe. They'll come out and take the 30-yard field goal attempt.
Ball will be put down at the 20-yard line. And the holder is the quarterback, Danny Wimprine. And the kick by Stewart is on the way, and the kick is up, and it is good. So some more good special teams play. A kick from 30 yards out cuts the lead to 21-10 in favor of Shaw. 3:29 left in the 1st half. We're coming back to Tad Gormley Stadium after this timeout. 21-10, Shaw leads Curtis with 3:29 left in the 1st half. Steve Carroll with Gerald Duhan. And Gerald, I'll get your thoughts on the 1st half. Has anything surprised you up to this point as we're near halftime?
Yeah, you would think that Curtis would be in control of this game at this point, but a key special teams play helped give Shaw a little momentum. But give the Eagles credit. They've driven the ball against the Patriots. Now we saw the Patriots just do the same. Back to the Eagles. A fumbled ball averted a potential touchdown for the Patriots. They had to settle for the field goal. 3:30 left in this half. Neither team is going to lay down. They'll play hard all the way through.
Jason Stewart will kick off for the Patriots, who have just scored in the field goal. And the kick is the short one. It's going to be taken down at the 20-yard line and a return back to the 25-yard line for Shaw. who will go 1st and 10, and that's Carey, the quarterback, on the return. Well, the WHNO High School Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors, by Prime Equipment, and by River Parish Disposal. And without them, the telecast couldn't be possible, so we appreciate all their support of the WHNO High School Football Game of the Week. First down and 10 from the 25-yard line, 3:25 left in the half.
Let's see how much Shaw gambles right here.
Carey fakes the handoff, will keep it himself and move it up across the 30-yard line before he's brought down. A quick maneuver from left to right, he gains short yardage.
Well, 18 starters off this Eagles squad gone. 4 back from the team last year, 10 starters back on the Curtis Patriots. That would seem to tip the hand in favor of John Curtis, but Shaw playing him neck for neck in this contest.
All in again on the stop. He's been in on quite a few tackles here in the first half of play. 2nd down and 10. There you see our sideline camera. And a quick hitting play up the middle again. We'll get a yard or two, but that's it as they try to go up the middle. And it's Coleman, the running back on the carry. Time is set out here, and a time is actually going to be called by the Patriots. So we're going to take a timeout as well as these two teams here late in the first half. Shaw 21 and the Curtis Patriots 10. We're coming back with a resumption of the first half after these important words. Here's a 3rd down play, 3rd and 1, and Carey will keep and gets enough for the first down, lunging while on his knees, down on the AstroTurf, up towards the 40-yard line.
Big play right there for Carey to hold on to that ball and pick up the first down. Curtis had designs on getting that ball back before the first half was over, called the timeout to force the issue with Shaw. Shaw picks up the first down, and with 2.5 minutes left, they've got an opportunity, potentially 60 yards from the goal, and they've got a guy who can kick a long field goal as well, so let's see if Shaw can capitalize.
Carey comes out, a receiver out far to the right. They'll send Weber in motion behind the quarterback, who goes back and will heave one all the way down the field. Man-to-man coverage in the wide receiver, but the pass is incomplete, intended for Ronald Bellamy, and boy, I feel for that defensive back covering him because he is quick, has a lot of speed, and the pass was overthrown.
Excellent coverage, though, right time by the defensive back. Good cover, man, John Kelly. Right there, step for step. Look at him close. The gap went right to the ball and was right there. The ball just a little bit overthrown. Bellamy laid out for it, but credit the defensive coverage that time. John Kelly not fooled at all, holding up with Ronald Bellamy. He was out there on an island one-on-one.
Bellamy caught 24 passes a year ago, averaged 20 yards a catch, so he's a threat anytime he's out there. 2:14 left in the first half. 21-10 Shaw, back to pass Carey, and he overthrows it. Intended for Bellamy, who had coverage there along the right sideline.
Yeah, you mentioned Bellamy's 24 catches last year. Of course, the feature receiver, Terrell Harris, had about 45 catches, so Bellamy with about half. Bellamy may actually be recruited a little bit hotter than last year, and Harris. Why? Well, that's because he actually may be a little faster. May not be a better wide receiver, but he may be a faster wide receiver. And, of course, speed is what the colleges go after, and so Bellamy may find a few more suitors than Terrell Harris did last year, and Terrell Harris was a hot commodity. Of course, he ended up at Tulane.
And there's no question there's some speed on this Shaw football team. 2:10 left in the second quarter. And here's Carey going back to pass from the 30. Avoids ahead, runs out of the pocket, gets to the 40, has some running room. 45, 40, 35, 30, a little deep, and brought down inside the 30. A big run for Carey puts him in scoring position.
32-yard gain by Carey, and one of the keys to that play developing down the field, Carey shaked a couple of tackles in the backfield. You could see him. He showed some cool and collectiveness back here as he set up in the pocket, felt the pressure, stepped up, avoided the rush. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, realizes he's got some running room, a lot of room. But here's the key, Steve. He doesn't go full speed. He allows his blocks right there to develop. That gave him an extra 10 yards. Then if he had gone full speed and outran his coverage.
And that's John Kelly again on the tackle. Carey back to pass, throws it high. Might have been effective at the line of scrimmage, but the ball is caught at the 11-yard line. And what a heck of a reception that is by Bellamy over there, as it looked like he might not come down with it. The officials talk it over, and they're ruling it a complete pass and a first down just outside the 10.
The Curtis defender got his hands on the ball, Steve, knocked it away, but Bellamy continues to concentrate. Watch this. Continues to concentrate on the ball. The old tip drill. He's right there. The ball tipped to him. comes down with it clearly inbounds, surrounded by 3 wide receivers, and it's going to be first down just outside of the 10-yard line. The Eagles can pick up a first down before they score. We've got just about a minute and a half left in this first half.
Tony Bua finally brought him down after a great concentration catch by Bellamy, and a running play right up the middle gets to the 10-yard line. That's Weber on the carry, the senior running back. Puts him in the middle of the field, but second down and long.
Not much running room for Weber right there. Shaw will be content to let a little clock run. They've got 2 timeouts remaining as we're coming down on the 1-minute mark here in the first half. The Eagles don't want to put the ball in the air unless they have to down here, and this is exactly what they had in mind. Of course, Curtis calling a timeout, forcing Shaw's hand on a 3rd and short. Back some 50 yards ago, Shaw picking up that first down. Now moving down the field, they're threatening on their own.
Here's Carey with a single setback behind him, goes to the air and through Bellamy's hand, and then he was really whacked hard inside the 5-yard line, but the pass was incomplete.
And, of course, as soon as I say Shaw doesn't want to throw the ball, that's what they do. They drop back and have that bullet pass right over the middle of Bellamy, in and out of his hands. Now they've got a decision on 3rd down. I would imagine on 4th down they would come out and kick the field goal, but Shaw's going to take a timeout and look at its options.
All right, 21-10. Shaw leads Curtis. 50 seconds left in the first half. Don't go away. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Mom. First half, and Gerald Jim is thinking, how important is this drive? How important is it for Shaw to score? How important is it for Curtis to stop? This could be a big turning point in the entire game.
Well, coming down the other way, Curtis looked like it was driving for a touchdown. A fumble pushed it back, had to settle for a field goal, and now Shaw could potentially go up with its 4th touchdown to the first half.
Carey rolls to the right, looks to throw it, keeps the ball inside the 5, leaps into the end zone. The question is he's inbounds, or did he get out of bounds off the 1-yard line?
Now the question is going to be, did he convert on the first down with 44 seconds left? That could be the larger equation, and it is a first down for Shaw. Wow. Look at Carey. This is nothing but pure athleticism. Rolls out. He wants to pass. This is a designed passing play. Decides there's no one there, tucks it down, and beats his man right to the corner. That acceleration around the defensive lineman, and came out away from the cornerback, going for the flag. Didn't quite make it, but it's 1st and goal for the Eagles down at the 1-yard line.
The senior free safety Nick Brown presented a touchdown, but not this time. Up the middle, touchdown for Shaw. Point number 27, and a late first half touchdown is a huge one for Shaw.
Well, it'll be time for the Curtis special teams to answer on the ensuing kickoff, but first, what can you say about Chiron Carey? He's making good decisions here in the first half. He's scored a couple of touchdowns already. And the Eagle cause is up 28-10 here at halftime. I don't think anyone expected this. Or 27-10 with the extra point still to come.
And here is the extra point attempt by the junior, Jeremy Helton, who handles the punting and extra point duties. Snap back. And Helton will kick it away, and that one is no good. No good, so he missed the extra point, so keep that in mind as this game continues.
Yeah, of course, I shot my mouth off about Helton scoring 75 extra points a little bit earlier this half, and here the young man comes up and misses the field goal. I'm sure he'll have an opportunity to redeem himself later on in this game. We'll see how important that is. It's now a 17-point game instead of an 18-point game.
And you really have to be impressed by the job that Carey has done leading this Shaw team in the first half of play. This game being brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company. And, of course, we'll remember that extra point that was missed by the Eagles here with 41 seconds left in the second quarter of play. And time is going to be called here as the Curtis Patriots regroup along the near sideline. Their head coach, and the other side, the Eagles gather around Hank Tierney.
11-play drive, 75 yards, 2:48 off the clock as Shaw struck quickly to go up 27-10 in this game. Carey, what a first half he's had, Steve. A 1-yard touchdown run, a 1-yard touchdown run, and a 65-yard touchdown run that got this game going back early on in the first quarter.
Well, both quarterbacks have done a good job running with the ball and showing some strong arms on some long passing plays that we've had in this first half of play. And we're just, again, 41 seconds left in this first half of play.
J.T. Curtis saying one of the things that they were going to have to do was adjust to this new Shaw offense. you think about it, the Eagles have run one type of offense for 15 years. First game in the 16th year of a different offense. Okay, an option offense instead of the old veer offense. And there's going to be some adjustment on the defensive part. There's really no tape they can look at, very little tape that John Curtis can look at defensively to stop this Shaw offensive squad. We'll see what Curtis comes out in the second half if they're able to calm down this Eagle offensive attack, which has been very successful here in the first half. It's also been opportunistic, but it's also been successful.
Their offensive line has done a heck of a job in this first half of play. The Patriots will bring it back to the 30, 35, 40, and up to near midfield. A long return by Ganji, who had some running room along the right sideline.
Another big special teams play by the Patriots. Don't count them out. 33 seconds left. They've got a couple of timeouts, a couple of completions. They're in field goal range as well.
So it's first down and 10. Time for a few more plays here. The Patriots would like to answer that previous touchdown by Carey with at least 3 points here, get on the board, get a little momentum going into halftime. There's the kick, and it's a low kick picked up there.
Yeah, kind of like a knuckleball kick that's fielded well.
And it was fielded by Ganji and puts them at the 47-yard line on a first and 10 play. Prine on a draw play will hand off, and not much running room there as Coletti got the call and lost the yard or two.
Well, Curtis elected not to use one of their timeouts here, Steve. They're hurrying it up as the clock ticks under 20 seconds.
And when Prine under center goes back to pass, we'll look down the field and throw a short pass near the 50-yard line. It's incomplete, intended for the tight end Woodward, and that ball a little bit off to his right.
Of course, in a situation like this, this is where it hurts you somewhat to have your leading receiver be your tight end, that you can't move the ball down as quickly down the field as if you had a speedy wideout.
Now it's a second down and 10 play at the 47-yard line. They'll need a few more yards to get into field goal range here if that's possible.
Wimprine, 7 attempts, 2 completions. He's thrown 5 straight incomplete passes, including that last one.
They'll need a complete one here to get him at least in scoring position for the field goal, and he's not going to get that opportunity as they came from both sides, led by the defensive lineman Daniel Neville. He's a good one, knocking Wimprine down, and with that tackle, Gerald, time has expired in the first half of play.
Just a bull rush coming up. You see it, pressure from up the middle. That took the attention, Wimprine away from his right side and piling through for the sack, and the Eagles are in good shape here through one half of play.
27 for the Eagles, 10 for the Patriots after one half of play. Coming up, our halftime show. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Steve Carroll with Gerald Duhan. You see the score, Gerald. The Curtis Patriots behind by 17. What do they have to do to get back in this football game?
Well, one of the things they have to do, Steve, is stop the Shaw big play, and Shaw's had it so far. The first score of the game, a Chiron Carey 65-yard run, a big special teams play. Shaw takes advantage of that, puts the ball in from the 1-yard line, and the Shaw defense creating a Curtis fumble. The Patriots retained possession, but it took them out of a possible touchdown situation, put them into a field goal position, and that's been the difference in this game. But don't make no mistake about it, Shaw has gotten the long drives when they've needed them. This has not just been a team that is on top through luck and chance and taking advantage of situations. They've also done the work the old-fashioned way, the down and dirty way, and scored points that way. We've seen flashes from the Curtis offense, though, as well. They've had some protracted drives. I'm sure one of the things that the Curtis Patriots are talking about is let's come out, let's put it down, let's get a protracted drive, let's hold on to the ball for a while, and let's stop that Shaw offense.
And we'll see what happens in the second half. Shaw leads by 17 at halftime, and you're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Real residential and compactor rental sales services are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal. Find out how you can save on your disposal needs. 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up. And we pick up with the second half. And here's the kickoff by Shaw to the Patriots. They'll get their hands on the football for the first time here in the second half. And the run back is up to the 30-yard line. And Patriots will have it first down and 10. Steve Carroll with Gerald Duhan. And, Gerald, you have some of the first half numbers.
I sure do. For these two teams, evenly matched as you look at the rushing yardage. 23 carries for each team, 179 yards on the ground for Shaw, 138 yards on the ground for Curtis. of Shaw's 179 yards, 152 by quarterback Chiron Carey. Each team with 60 yards of passing. That gives Shaw 239 yards of total offense. The Curtis's 198 yards.
After the return by Terry Stevens on the opening second half kickoff, first down 10 from the 30, and there's Stevens on the reception. Out to the 40, up to the 43-yard line. On the first play of the second half, a first down, and Gerald, they come out throwing.
Yeah, they come out throwing to a wide receiver as well instead of a tight end. The previous two receptions by Woodward, the tight end, he had 2 receptions for 15 yards and a touchdown in there. For the Eagles, their passing yardage, 7 attempts, 2 completions, all 60 yards, and the completions going to senior wide receiver Ronald Bellamy.
And there's a reception there up to the 40. Chase Dardar on the tackle. It's a first down and 10 play from the 43-yard line. For the Patriots, who trail by 17 as we begin the second half. A running play up the middle and some daylight as the Patriots move it into Eagle territory at the 45-yard line, with Brooks making the tackle there after a good run right up the middle.
Good blocking on the inside, blocking out, sealing off the middle, opening up a nice big gap and a hole, and a first down pickup and into quickly into Eagle territory. One thing we didn't mention, another good John Curtis return off a kickoff has helped this drive get started in positive territory.
After the run by Patterson, a quick throw on the sideline. It's caught taken in at the 35-yard line. That's Mike Ganji, the junior. He has possession, knocked out of bounds. And right away, you see, as you said, Gerald, good kickoff return, some running, some passing.
And here's Curtis looking for the wide receivers here instead of the tight ends. That was the success they've had through the air in the first half. This is a change of philosophy here in the second half as they're showing a new wrinkle for the Shaw defense to adjust to.
And that's Dardar in the coverage of Ganji. Patriots moving down the field from the 38-yard line, second and short. And they'll pick up first down yardage on a running play up the middle inside the 35-yard line, and the Patriots get a first down on the run play by Patterson.
The Patriots are so good running between the tackles, Steve, but when you're able to pass out in the flats and pick up first down yardage, that gives you even more opportunity to break something on the inside. John Curtis is doing a masterful job here early on of mixing up the run and the pass. And let's also mention Wimprine. He went all the way in the first half. We have yet to see Stevens in the quarterback spot. It's supposed to be a dual rotating role, but Coach JT going with who he thinks can bring him the win.
Receivers out right and left, split backfield behind Wimprine, who goes back and passes. Woodward makes the catch at the 25-yard line, dragged near the end line, alongside the Shaw sideline, and a complete pass. And again, the passing here on this drive has been tremendous.
Yeah, and 6 yards, 7 yards on this completion. Call it a second down and a long 3 or short 4. That's precisely what you want to do to keep on schedule, to keep the ball moving down the field very quickly. Curtis down to the 25-yard line of Shaw.
Woodward on the catch. Greg Brooks, one of the top defensive players in the New Orleans area, on the stop. And here's a second down and short yardage play. Wimprine rolls out and pitches back. Patterson on the run, 10-5, dives, and he's short of the end zone. But a great run after the pitch back by Wimprine to the running back, who's done a lot of the carrying on this drive.
24-yard rush there, down first and goal for the Patriots. But, wow, what a lick Wimprine took as he held on to the ball to the last possible second, then optioned the ball out. Excellent decision, excellent run, and it'll be a first and goal for Curtis. They're moving the ball with relentless perfection to begin the third quarter.
Brooks saved the touchdown, first and goal. Let's see if they just move it in on a quarterback sneak here as Wimprine under center. A yard to go for the touchdown. He's going to hand it off, and I don't think he got in there as they stood him up at the goal line on the handoff from Wimprine.
Well, let's remember, Steve, this was one of the big turning points in the 28-18 Shaw win last year in the Superdome during the Half-Claudia Classic. 3 times John Curtis was down inside the 5-yard line, twice at the 1, once at the 3-yard line. A turnover and 2 goal line stops kept the Patriots from getting in the end zone. The Patriots have already been thwarted once on a fumble where they had to settle for a field goal. Can the Shaw defense stiffen and hold here on second down?
Watson stopped on the first try, second down and 1. Wimprine under center will roll to the left and take it in himself for a touchdown.
Excellent play that time, faking on the inside. Wimprine hanging on to it. High percentage play, and waltzes into the end zone for the touchdown. And Curtis picking up a little momentum. Hey, they're not done just yet.
It took some time off the clock. 8:33 left in the third quarter. Here's again the fake of a handoff. Wimprine decides to take it over the left side. Bounces in for 6, and the extra point could get them to within 10 points.
And wow, just a second ago, it seemed like Shaw had all the momentum going into halftime, but Curtis did what it needed to do, coming out here in the second half, a long drive, picking up some time on the clock, chewing up some time, and mixing the run and the pass expertly.
Here is Stewart with the extra point attempt, and it is good. And with 8:33 left in the third quarter, Shaw 27 and Curtis 17. Don't go away. We're coming back. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Point in the back of my mind that it could play a difference later on in this game. The one that Shaw had on their late second quarter touchdown. They missed the extra point, but we'll wait and see. Kickoff taken down at the 2-yard line, and here comes Carey on the kickoff return, fumbles, and it's recovered by the kicker. And Curtis has the ball in great field position.
Special teams have played a huge role in this game so far. Steve, and another big play. This time, the special teams play going in favor of John Curtis and Big Mo clearly on the sideline of the blue and red.
Well, here's the kick by Stewart. He's the guy that's actually going to come up with a fumble return. As you see Carey get the football inside the 5 and carry it up towards the middle of the field. See Stewart on the left side of your screen. Watch the hit. The ball will bounce off a player, and there's the kicker, Stewart, kicking off and recovering the fumble.
Well, he's not a kicker. He's a football player first, and he played like it right there.
And it's first down and 10 yards to go for the Patriots. They're knocking on the Shaw door. Here's Wimprine on the carry. Still tough to bring down. It takes 3 or 4 of the Eagle tacklers to bring him down after a gain of a couple.
Well, I tell you, I'd like to know what that Curtis offensive line was told at halftime. They're firing off the ball and taking charge in the trenches, pushing some of the Eagles back. Watch this blocking. Excellent blocking up front as Wimprine turns it upfield, moving people away, picking up real estate. And it's a fired-up offensive line right now going against that experienced Shaw defensive line.
And Darrell Ward in on the stop. One of the tacklers in on that, along with Doug King. They're a big part of that defensive unit for Shaw. 7:46 left third quarter, 10-point lead for Shaw. Patriots on the run play right up the middle inside the 15. As they stick with the running play on the handoff from the quarterback.
Nothing fancy about that. Straight up the middle. Good reaction from the fans. They know what vintage John Curtis football is. They appreciate a 3-yard gain as much as they do as a long passing play, because that's what Curtis needs to do. Move the ball up, control the clock, and run it on the ground. And that's exactly what they're doing. Big third down right here. 3rd and 1. You would have to think Curtis would keep it on the ground here. Of course, a pass to Woodward would really be special right here.
Stevens out left, Ganji out right. And the quarterback keeps it first down and more. Touchdown for the Patriots. So we're back to within 27-23, and Gerald, hasn't this happened in a hurry?
Wow, in a hurry. You've said a mouthful right there, Steve. Just over 5 minutes. 2 unanswered touchdowns by John Curtis. Shaw had the momentum going into halftime. There have been some adjustments made. Shaw has not even seen the ball offensively, and that's what we thought would be the key to slowing down this, getting this game to be a little bit closer. Instead, the Patriot offense has taken charge here. Wimprine leading the way with that touchdown run.
And Stewart on for the extra point attempt here as they huddle off to the left, the line of scrimmage, and Curtis goes for point number 24 to get back within 3. Stevens will hold the football for Stewart, who will try to put them within a field goal. And he has just done that. Close to a block, but he got it through the uprights, and it's 27-24 for Shaw. Dandy's second half shaping up here. We'll come back after this. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. 27-24, Shaw leading Curtis midway through the third quarter. Steve Carroll with Gerald Duhan. And we let you know about our good friends at P.F. Chang's China Bistro at the corner of Veterans and Severn and Metairie. They have it all: service, location, ambiance, and most importantly, quality food. Succulent appetizers include the Chang's chicken or vegetables and soothing lettuce wrap and the Peking raviolis, one of my favorites. Main course staples are the Chang's spicy chicken, orange peel shrimp, and the Dan Dan noodles. Top off your complete meal with a decadence cheesecake or the pear torte. Visit Ken Trahan's favorite restaurant, P.F. Chang's China Bistro. Open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. weekdays and 11 a.m. to midnight Friday and Saturday at the corner of Veterans Boulevard and Severn.
Well, Shaw needs to get out here, Steve, and pick up a couple of first downs and more than likely score here in the third quarter. They're trying to regain the momentum. They've got the lead, but Curtis has held the ball for this entire third quarter. Shaw has yet to have an opportunity.
Stewart kicks the ball out of the end zone.
And part of the reason was there was a flag on the extra point, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Eagles. It gave the Patriots an extra 15 yards and allowed them to kick the ball in the end zone. And Shaw will put it in play first and 10 at the 20.
And this is their first snap from scrimmage here in the second half. Again, they haven't had an offensive possession yet.
But we'll see how Carey responds right here. He fumbled the ball to give the second touchdown to Curtis. So we'll see if the junior quarterback making his first varsity start here. He led the freshman team. He's run the scout teams, but now he runs the state runner-up team. He's in the quarterback spot where everyone's looking at him, and he makes the decision here to go forward and picks up almost 10 yards.
He does, and a fake of a handoff with Bellamy split out to the left side. He gets almost 10, as Gerald said, and he has done a great job on the run. He's been a big part of their success tonight, scoring a 1-yard TD sneak and another one earlier, and then the first touchdown of the game saw Shaw and Carey run 65 for the game's initial points.
Sixth meeting between these two clubs. Curtis leads the series 4-1, the only Shaw victory last year, the 28-18 win. As a matter of fact, that win last year, the first Catholic League win, a Catholic League school over Curtis in 29 years.
And there's the running play again, off to the right side, up to the 38-yard line. And some would think that it's unthinkable that a team like Curtis would lose 2 years in a row to the same team. But with this one going, this is up for grabs.
Yeah, last time that happened, one team beating Curtis 2 years consecutively, 86-87, John Eric Patriots did it. Good vision right there by Carey as he turns the ball up the field, spinning, keeping his feet moving, and it's a first down pickup for the Eagles. They'll put it in play just outside their 35-yard line.
Nick Brown on the stop of Carey. 5:56 left in the third quarter. Shaw 27, Curtis 24. And Carey will hand it off to Sean Weber. Not much running room that time as he faked the handoff and then turned it to Weber, who was running in behind the quarterback, and very short yardage there, if any.
Even when it doesn't look like Shaw's picking up yardage, Steve, they're picking up 2-3 yards. Call it a short 3. They picked up right there, just extra effort. That offensive line firing off the ball. This is the point of the game. It's still warm right now this time of the year. The temperatures, the seasons really haven't changed. The temperatures haven't changed. We'll see how the second half plays out, as fatigue will certainly become a factor in this first game of the season.
It's warm out there. Very nice and cool up here in this press facility at Tad Gormley Stadium. They jumped the defensive line. Let's see if they were drawn offside as the official blows the penalty flag. And it is a false start. It's going against the Shaw Eagles. Back 5 yards.
So now it's, instead of 2nd and 7, you've got 2nd and 12, and you've got less opportunity to run some of the plays that you would run at 2nd and 7. It limits your options.
Now here's Carey with a play in from the sideline.
And the plays coming in this year for Shaw, rotating with the tight ends. Last year they didn't do that. They had the wide receivers with Bellamy and Harris. They just kind of saunter over the sideline, get the play, come back in and call it, but they're actually switching players out this year.
Here's Carey going back to pass inside the 30, fires long and deep, and that pass intended for Bellamy broke it up against some double coverage on him down at the 30-yard line. And that Tony Bua is one of the defenders on the play along with John Kelly.
Bellamy running into the defensive back who impeded his progress towards the ball. No call on the play. You'll see it right at the bottom of your screen right there as he came back. The defensive back was, however, looking back at the ball. He's got just as much right to that ball as Bellamy does, and so that's why there was no call on the play.
I don't think you're going to see much single-man coverage on Bellamy. He's all by himself out there. They double-team him that time, and pass incomplete brings up a third and a long scenario.
Well, he's Shaw's main threat down the field, so you know if he's going to run a fly pattern and the ball, it's going to come to him.
Here is Carey going back, brought out of the pocket, runs up the middle, slipped and fell short of the first down, actually got back to the 35-yard line, down on his own legs and knees, and he gets up. Oh, he's done a heck of a job tonight, but this time they'll have to punt it away to John Curtis.
And, of course, that's where the motion penalty hurts. The illegal procedure penalty hurts. It narrows you down on what you can do. Shaw may not have gone for that deep pass on 2nd and 7. Instead, on 2nd and 12, they go for the deep pass. It's incomplete. 3rd down and long. They don't pick up anything, so they're punting it right back to a white-hot Curtis offense. Now the Shaw defense needs to step up.
That's a short punt, and they'll let it go. You might recall what happened in the first half. A punt attempt hit one of the Curtis defenders and gave Shaw excellent field position down near the goal line. This time, everybody stayed away, and it's 1st down and 10 for the Patriots. There's no doubt about it, Gerald. They have a lot of momentum built up here in the 3rd quarter.
And for Curtis, this is their opportunity right now to take control of this game and put themselves on front for the first time. They've yet to lead in this contest.
Well, it's 1st down and 10 for the Patriots, and Wimprine comes back out to run the offense. I want to talk to you here in just a moment. We get a chance about these offensive and defensive linemen we're having performing tonight on both sides. We'll get to that after this play. Wimprine with a split backfield behind him. Receivers out right and left. The quick hitter up the middle for short yardage. My thought was, and did a little bit of research on this, back in 1977, these linemen that were selected to the Class 4A All-State team averaged about 214 pounds per player. Now, 2 decades later, that average jumped up to 273.5 pounds. I mean, it's really changed the offensive defensive linemen, even at the high school level.
It's a different game now. In one of the Tom's-Picayune prep supplements that they put around the city on the West Bank, Billy North was interviewed. He said this is more like college now than it is high school, running a big-time high school program like he does at John Ehret.
Well, Wimprine runs it himself with a quarterback keeper up towards the 45-yard line before he's brought down by John Paul Rhodes. And it's going to be 3rd down and short yardage coming up.
And, of course, all these successful high school programs, these two on the field tonight, many others in the metro area, they're run more like college programs. The coaches are more specialized. The kids are more specialized. You see very few kids going both ways unless you get on some of the lower classifications where many years ago it was not uncommon for your star player to go both ways.
Wimprine on a handoff on 3rd and 1, and I don't think they got it. The handoff to Trey Patterson, and he was stacked to the line of scrimmage. I'll be very surprised if that's a 1st down run.
Big defensive stop right there for the Eagles as they come up with it on 4th down. One of the big players right there, Doug King, the defensive tackle, 6'1", 245, the senior, number 79. Watch him clog the middle up right here and help to come up with the stop and put this play, subdue this play down.
King, a preseason All-Metro, and it's going to be 4th down and 1. And look out here. They're going for it at the 45-yard line. Perhaps the biggest play of the game thus far. Receiver out far left. Wimprine. Oh, and they got him to go offside there. With the count for the quarterback, and it appeared like Shaw jumped offside, and that's going to give Curtis a 1st down here.
Why go for it when you can get the defense to jump off sides? And that's the irony of this entire situation. You see number 65 breaking his stance. Willie McGee, one of the returning starters, the senior, gives them a 1st down, and that's kind of the irony of the whole situation is the defensive line is the most experienced part of this Shaw team, and they're caught in an inexperienced play right there by jumping off sides.
In the second half for Shaw, it's been a turnover and a couple of costly penalties, which have gotten the Patriots back in this game. Wimprine on a quick out along the right sideline, intended for Ganji overthrowing. And with 1:40 left in the 3rd quarter, a big 2nd and 10 play coming up. Shaw's ahead in this game, 27-24, but again, the Patriots marching down the field.
Little overthrown on 1st down, going for a wide receiver. Once again, we see Wimprine in the offense throwing to those wideouts where in the first half they concentrated primarily on the tight end. Let's see what they come up with here on 2nd and 10.
Gordar on the coverage on Ganji as he is this time down the field. With backfield, Wimprine fakes it, pitches back, loose ball, and it's picked up by Shaw, and they have the football as it's run back by the Shaw Eagles. And that is Doug King picking up the loose football. And now the turnover goes against the Patriots.
Yeah, Doug King, 3rd-year starter, really a guy, one of the best defensive linemen, if not in the Catholic League, certainly in the city. He comes up with the ball. Excellent play. Wimprine unable to option it out. Held on to it just a little too long. The Shaw defender right in his face. King picks it up instead of falling on it. It was a good move because he picked up an extra 5 or 10 yards. And now the Eagles have the opportunity to gain back some momentum. A series of big plays here in this game.
You see King limping off just a little bit. And the quarterback has it carried. Great juke. Down to the 20, to the 15, gets away to the 10. 5 and run out of bounds by a host of Patriot defenders.
Steve, did you see that move in the middle of the field? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Carey made one move in the middle of the field. I'm telling you, I don't know how he stayed in his shoes because the Patriot player certainly left his. And it'll be a first and goal for the Eagles. That was a 27-yard pickup.
And look, Gerald, Carey apparently is hurt as he runs with a football right there, off balance, but kept his balance, and then heads towards the sideline, just ran out of room, pushed away, and comes up limping, so we'll see if that affects what happens here. It looks like perhaps a cramp of some kind as he's walking off towards the sideline. 1:21 left, a timeout on the field. 27-24 for Shaw, and that would be a tough loss for Shaw here.
It sure would. And, of course, right now with this heat outside, this is not very uncommon as Carey is being attended to with the cramp. Dehydration sets in right now at this point of the game. It's important to keep the players fully hydrated, and cramps are one of the things that manifests itself when heat plays a big factor like it is in this game.
Want to remind you this game is brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal. It's the only independent, full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal. Find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up. We'll pick up with late in the third quarter action. 1:21 left. After this, you are listening to the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Here's the play after the timeout. Weber with some short yardage goes towards the middle of the field, winds up being tackled at the 5-yard line where Shaw has the ball on a second down play upcoming.
And Carey stays in the game. More importantly for the Eagles, he doesn't miss a play after the timeout. The Eagles charged with a timeout, therefore he can stay in the game, doesn't need to come out.
Eagles up 27-24, time dwindling down, third quarter, 43 seconds left. Here he goes to the air, one-on-one coverage, and it's knocked away. A little bit of contact out there, but the Curtis defender comes up with a play, knocks it away. John Kelly, the 5'11" junior, on one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, we've seen Kelly go up against Bellamy a couple times tonight. He's been successful. The ball just a little bit underthrown. Bellamy had to come back for it. If it was thrown over that shoulder, he would have had a better opportunity. But, yeah, credit Kelly. Good defensive play that time. It'll be third and goal from the 5. I've got to think Shaw's in 4-down territory. They're leading by 3. They can put a 6-point bulge with a field goal. But if you're Hank Tierney, you want a touchdown right here.
No question about it. Here comes Carey with one man behind him. Receivers out to the right and left. Carey going back to pass. He'll look into the end zone. Spins away from a tackle. Still running.
Look out.
20. Gets it away, and it's caught. And it's going to be dragged down for a big loss. About a loss of about 3 or 4 yards when all is said and done. But he did get the pass away to his running back, Chris Coleman, who was tackled from behind, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Okay, decision time right now for Hank Tierney and Shaw. We'll see what they do. And Carey could have had an opportunity when he eluded the initial rush and rolled out. He could have, when he cut against the grain right here, he could have tucked the ball down, potentially run for a little bit more. Now he's broken the containment. If he could have got outside of number 48, he could have broken the containment, possibly gone down the field a little bit longer, but instead chose to throw it. Of course, it's easy for me to say that up here. I didn't have a big man in front of me trying to tackle me.
Alex Pataro, a preseason All-Metro, is the tackler on the play. Third quarter's come to an end. It's Shaw 27 and Curtis 24. And you are watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Prime Equipment Company. Here's a prime time play here on 4th and 9. And it's Curtis being stopped from the 9-yard line. They went for it, trying to get 6 instead of 3, and were stopped.
Well, that's one of the biggest plays of this game so far. Defensively, Curtis holds on 4th down. Credit a good rush by the front of the John Curtis Patriot line. You can see him coming up right here. Carey, this was a design running play as he dropped back. Now he looks to sneak it up the middle. That was a play that was open in the first half, but it's closed here in the second half. No room for Chiron Carey there. Now it's up to the Shaw defense to hold tight and give the Shaw offense another opportunity to extend its 3-point lead.
Now here comes Wim Prine out. Start his offense from deep inside the 10-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground, but a fumble. And we'll see who gets off the bottom of the pile and comes up with a football, as they almost gave it away, if indeed they did. It's a big opportunity for Shaw. Both teams motioning, but it appears like the Patriots have retained possession. It'll be second down. Here's the replay.
Wow, the fumbles for Curtis staying with them. We saw a fumble down at that end of the field in the first half. Stay with the Patriots, helped them to a field goal. This time, the fumble staying with the Blue as well. So it'll be second down and about 8.
And out come the Patriots. Wim Prine behind center, just underway, fourth quarter, 3-point lead for the Eagles. Patriots coming back, and a pass intended along the right side for Stevens. Overthrowing him was the quarterback, Wim Prine, and coverage by the free safety, Greg Brooks, that time.
You could really see Wim Prine's arm strength right there as he dropped into the pocket. Watches him. He just cocks and fires. This ball gets out on the side in a hurry as he unleashes this one. And just over his receiver's outstretched arms. Good coverage that time by the Eagles secondary. Well, big third down conversion right here. Shaw can hold, and their fourth down gamble paid off down at the other end.
Here's a big play deep in their own end. 3rd and 8. Wim Prine will keep the ball on the ground, handle it himself, and come up short of first down yardage. He crossed the 20-yard line. John Paul Rhodes on the stop, along with Darrell Ward, and will bring up a 4th down play.
Check it. He got over the line
He
there,
did?
Steve. It's going to be first down. It was close, but his second effort put him over the first down mark. Big play by the junior quarterback running the veer.
And I tell you, he got hit hard there, but that momentum carried him into first down territory. So a big play here early in the fourth quarter. Out they come to the 21-yard line. And again, a split backfield behind the quarterback, Wim Prine, who's gone all the way for Curtis. Quick hitter up the middle. And there goes Pete Watson for big yardage up to near the 40-yard line on just a straight shot up the middle.
Well, when you run the veer on the outside and you have the opportunity for the quarterback to keep it or option it, that sets up the trap on the inside. That's exactly what worked right there for the Patriots as Watson finding some room, and he just had a couple men in the secondary to beat. They hauled him down, but not before he picked up another first down.
Seen some outstanding running and some passing on both sides in this game. This has really been a great spectator game. Lots of scoring, close game. We near the 10-minute mark remaining in the fourth quarter here from Tad Gormley Stadium. Wim Prine turns one way, hands off to the other runner. That's Coletti with some running room near the end line. And it's 40-yard line and pass into Shaw territory on a big run there by Coletti.
Big run, breaking tackles, and right now, we talked about it in the first half, Steve, the 4 running backs for Curtis, they're all contributing right now. Could fatigue be a factor? They're fresh as they're rotated in and out. They don't lose much as they go from one to the other. And this depth of running back is really helping the Patriot attack right now. They're in Eagle territory.
Along the sideline, a big gainer. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Wim Prine has him moving down the field. He has his second half. Quick handoff up the middle, and they darn near broke that one. This time it was Watson on the handoff, and he gets a good amount of yardage on the first down play.
Nothing fancy, straight up the middle, muscle to muscle, just going at him, heads up. And a play right on the interior there, as you mentioned, Steve, of the Eagle defensive line. Heck, that was a gain of almost 5.
And that's
he was tripped up at the line of scrimmage.
First down, netted about 4 to 5. Second down, about 5, we'll call it. Wim Prine under center, barks out the signals. And we'll hand off again, this time to Watson. This time they close the hole in a hurry. The front part of that Shaw defense in on the stop. They close quickly, and they're getting off the bottom of the pile. For Shaw is John Paul Rhodes, who has been a big part of their defensive effort tonight.
Another big third down. Maybe in 4-down territory right here. You're too close to punt. Of course, a long field goal is always a possibility if you don't make it here on 3rd down, but big 3rd down conversion right here for the Patriots.
3rd and 5. Stevens out wide to the right side. Woodward out left. Fake of a handoff. And Wim Prine will keep it belted hard near first down yardage.
I think he's got it. I think he's got it, Steve. Once again, Wim Prine on a pivotal 3rd down, hanging on to the ball. No signal as of yet. And it is a first down for the Patriots. Wow. Once again, Wim Prine doing what he needs to do, holding on to the ball and lowering his head, taking the punishment and picking up just enough yardage to move the chains, keeps this drive alive inside the 30.
And King and Rhodes in on the stop again for Shaw. Curtis trying to ride it down the field, get the go-ahead score, trailing 27-24, 7:57 left in the fourth quarter here.
Wimprine, 13 rushes, 68 yards.
First down play. And a pitch back to Coletti, tried to turn the corner, and coming up to make the play was John Paul Rhodes. As he couldn't quite get outside, turned it inside, and Rhodes was there with a good straight-on tackle.
Wow, that was almost the same problem Curtis had last possession when they fumbled the pitch out right there. Wimprine almost hanging on to the ball too long. Got an Eagle defender right in his face, but lets this one fly, and it's no gain instead of a lost football.
Well, second down and 10 as time continues to count down. 7:11 left in the fourth quarter. Patriots have done all the scoring in this half of play. Another quick handoff up the middle and some big yardage again, this time for Pete Watson. Carry down to about the 15-yard line, and they continue to move the ball on the ground.
Those fresh legs of the running backs and the offensive line for Curtis doing its job here in the second half, creating opportunity and creating holes. Look at the vision. No one even around him as he moves it down. That's the 17th first down of this game for the Patriots. We've still got 6:50 left here in the fourth quarter.
Brandon Bourgeois, the sophomore guard, trying to open up the hole there and combining with his offensive line. Gave them a chance to pick up some ground for a first. It's 1st and 10 from the 16. Wimprine back to throw. And throws it into the end zone. And the pass is caught for a touchdown by Terry Stevens.
Well, we saw that back in the first half. Big play that was tipped by a Patriot defender, and Bellamy came down with it. This time it's tipped by a Shaw defensive player, and coming down with it is Curtis for the touchdown.
Here's the replay as Wimprine winds and fires. You'll see the ball get deflected up into the air. Great concentration, and Stevens makes the touchdown catch to put Curtis ahead.
Well, Stevens, we thought we'd see him tonight at quarterback, and he'd contribute there, but he obviously contributed with that big catch there to put Curtis ahead for the first time in this game.
And now the extra point could make it a 4-point lead, and that is good. And the score is 31-27. Curtis leads Shaw. Coming back with more fourth quarter action in just a moment. Remind you, you're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. This game brought to you in part by River Parish Disposal, the only independent full-service, locally owned and operated waste disposal company in Greater New Orleans. Commercial, industrial, residential, and compactor rental. Sales service are offered at a savings of up to 25%. Call River Parish Disposal. Find out how you can save on your disposal needs at 738-7700. River Parish Disposal. Business stinks, but it's picking up. Shaw picks up the ball on the kickoff, and there's Carey along the left side. Up to the 30, 35, and dragged out about to the 40-yard line. And a good kickoff return after Shaw relinquishes the lead.
Well, Carey just about as close as he could get right there without stepping into the end zone in high school ball. If you're carried into the end zone, you see his right foot right on the goal line there. If you go into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. So Carey is close to the 1-inch line as he could get there, but returns this ball up, and Shaw's going to have very good field position to try to regain the lead. Let's remember in this game, Shaw led 27-10 going into halftime. This could be deja vu from the last time Shaw played against West Monroe in the Dome. That's a game they led 13-0, then again 19-14 in the fourth quarter, only to lose it 22-19.
21-point second half for the Patriots, and Carey back to throw, wings it out to the 45-yard line. It's caught by Bellamy, and he's bounced around after gaining first down yardage in Patriot territory.
Well, after picking up 60 yards through the air in the first half, Curtis's offensive air attack here, 6 of 13 in the second half, 57 yards and a couple of touchdowns for Danny Wimprine.
Emil Gant on the stop. Some big yardage picked up there. 5:47 left, fourth quarter. Curtis leads 31-27 here as they've come from behind here in the second half. Shaw, however, on the attack. And Carey gives it right up the middle, and not much running room there. Perhaps a yard, if that. And some great movement there by the Patriot defense, not giving up much running room.
Of course, last year you had Chiron Carey as the third running back. His brother Brandon gaining 1,900 yards. The fullback Aaron Mitchell, 800 yards. You had Terrell Harris. You had the great center Tully. You also had Bellamy playing a secondary position. You had multiple guys to go to on offense. This year, the Shaw offense is Bellamy. It is Carey. Those are the two skill position guys that are going to get it done for you. If you can shut down those guys, you can win the ball game here for Curtis. That's where the pressure's going to be heightened for that junior and that senior with just under 5 minutes left.
Carey back in the pocket, looks steep, looks long, and throws incomplete. Intended towards the middle of the field for Sean Weber out of the backfield, but pass underthrown. It'll be a third down and long yardage play coming up.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see if Carey was hit as he released the ball, because that ball clearly off target. He's setting up, got good protection. No, he just let it fly. Looked like it may have just slipped out of his hand as it died going off on the right-hand side. So big third down play here, Steve. Third down and almost 10 yards to go for Shaw. They're going to have some thinking to do if they don't convert right here with 4:49 left in this fourth quarter. They trail by 4 with that missed extra point. It could have been 3, but it's 4 right here.
Okay, big play. Third down and 10 from the 46. Here comes Curtis on the blitz, and they get Carey at the 47-yard line, and there wasn't a whole lot the quarterback could do that time.
Nope, and Curtis showed that blitz. They didn't disguise it at all. Came right up. Carey ran the play, didn't check out of it, and instead, Curtis comes up with a big sack there on fourth down. Now Shaw has no choice but to punt.
Emil Gadd on the stop. And the Patriots will send 2 players back near the 20-yard line to receive this punt. It'll be up to the Shaw defense now to put a stop to the Patriots, and that's been a tough thing to do here in this half, as Curtis has scored 21 unanswered points here in this second half of play.
Great punt.
And it's taken down to the 15-yard line, up towards the 20-yard line. Big pile-up. Penalty flags are down as Curtis returns it a little bit. And that is Tony Bua with the kick return. And we'll see what the penalty flags are all about here.
More than likely clipping, which will push it back and put Curtis deep in its own territory. So it's going to come down to the Shaw defense, Steve. They've got to hold Curtis. They've got to get the ball back. A field goal will do them no good here with 4 minutes left in this game. They need a touchdown.
What they want to do is keep the ball on the ground, keep possession of it. When you think about this second half, Gerald, it's been 2 costly penalties and a turnover, which you've heard Shaw, and you didn't see that from them in the first half.
No, really, some of the big plays going in favor of the Eagles. So here, Curtis taking advantage of some of the miscues.
And there's a discussion out near the 40-yard line between the officiating crew about the penalty. Just 4 minutes left to go in this football game. Well, holding penalty and then a clipping penalty, so apparently penalties on each side. Offsetting penalties.
Well, that's got to work to the advantage of Curtis, because that was a great punt by Jeremy Helton. He really got underneath that ball and pinned Curtis back deeply. Let's see.
The officials discuss the possible scenarios. And while they do that, let's talk about one of our great sponsors this year in the high school game of the week, Prime Equipment. It's this game brought to you in part by Prime Equipment Company, distributors of man lifts, tower generators, scissor lifts, and more for commercial and industrial contracting. For all your lifting needs, remember Prime Equipment Company. Still discussing the offsetting penalties. One was a hold, the other was a clip. And there you see the head guy for J.T. Curtis barking out. He apparently isn't too pleased with the calls. And we're going to bring it back. They have the line of scrimmage is the 49-yard line. That's where the official is pointing toward.
Well, what they could be saying here, Steve, is that the first penalty happened before the change of possession. It happened while the ball was actually in the air and still owned by Shaw. So there was a hold against Shaw, a clip against Curtis. So they're going to mark off the clip, and then they're going to mark off the hold here. See, they're actually marking off the penalty against Curtis right now. The holding against that happened before the change of possession. So now Shaw may go for it here on fourth down. So there was no offsetting penalties. So instead of a 4th down on a punt, Shaw's going to have an opportunity to go for it right here as they take advantage of that 10-yard penalty. Let's see how they've got their offensive unit out on the field.
And here we go. It's going to be 4th and about 5. From the 41. Big play, perhaps the game's biggest. 4 minutes left. Shaw trails Curtis, 31-27. Carey back to throw. In trouble, is knocked down from behind at the 45-yard line, and that's a big defensive play there by Mike Paulin.
We talked about making adjustments at halftime. There's an adjustment that the Patriots defense made. That play was wide open in the first half. This is a run all the way. Single back behind Carey, slots right and left, drops back. Now he's supposed to run. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys around him as he tried to bring the ball up the field, and the bad news is Carey's not getting up. He's having a problem with that cramp again. But that play, wide open in the first half. Here, it doesn't work once again in the second half for Shaw.
And while they attend to the injured quarterback, 3:52 left to play in the fourth quarter, we'll take a break. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. 10 for Curtis. Late in the fourth quarter, Wimprine keeps the ball and then is dragged down by that big defensive lineman for Shaw. That's Doug King, who's played a strong game along the defensive front.
Just to clarify before, there were 2 penalties. Both were against Curtis. There was no offsetting penalties. The clipping happened on the run back after the change of possession. The holding before the change of possession. The Eagles elected to go with the holding call. That gave them the ball 10 yards up the field. They went for the 4th down. It failed. And right now the strategy is simple. 2 timeouts for Shaw, 3 for Curtis. Curtis wants to run as much clock as they can run, keep the ball on the ground. Shaw needs to come up with a stop here on this down and on the next down to have a shot to get the ball back.
Wimprine with a split backfield behind him. 3 yards on the first down play. Now a handoff.
Look out!
And
Look out!
Shaw will get it back near midfield. Oh, a big turnover there, and Shaw will have another chance.
Chad Richards coming up with that loose ball, Steve, and that's the big momentum turner that Shaw needed. Now let's see. Remember, Carey has had some problems with cramps. He's going to have to lead this offense here. Watch, just a big hit right there. Ball on the carpet, and this time it finds the hands of a Shaw defensive player. Curtis has managed to hang on to those fumbles so far this game. Here, it comes up against them. Exactly 3 minutes left in this game. The 5th Curtis fumble. They've turned over 3 of them.
Well, here we go. Looks like Lee Richard is in for Shaw.
Big change here at quarterback. So obviously, we'll take a look to find Carey on the sidelines to see what he's up to. But right now, and Shaw's can immediately call a timeout. They want to talk about it as it's 31-27, Curtis over Shaw with 3 minutes left. I don't think the Eagles wanted to do that. Now they're down to 1 timeout.
Richard, the 5'9", 160-pound junior quarterback coming in as team asked for time with exactly 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Actually, Curtis has done all the scoring here in the second half, 21 consecutive points. And all of them by Wimprine being involved. A touchdown run, 8:31 left third quarter. Then a 13-yard touchdown run with 6:58 left in the third quarter. And here in the fourth, with about 6 minutes left, a pass from Wimprine to Stevens. Put him up. The extra point attempt good. And again, that's a big, big extra point because it's a 4-point difference. The field goal won't do Shaw any good at all. Not able to tie it with a field goal. They trail by 4, but they just got the football back on a fumble, and they go 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. 31-27. Patriots lead the Eagles. Shaw with the ball near midfield. This should be an exciting finish. There's a throw, and it's caught down at the 45-yard line as Richard unloads one, and the pass is caught by Marquise.
Richard, 5'9", 160, a junior, just like Carey, but a different style player, a different athlete. I would imagine Shaw's going to go to the air more here, and Bellamy's presence is going to become much bigger here. I'm sure he's going to pick up double coverage, but as we see, Carey's out on the side. He's standing up, being attended to on the far sideline, so I don't know if we will see him again in this game.
It's up to Richard, it appears, and now penalty flag moves the ball even further down the field.
Big play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, the call against John Curtis. That'll move the ball 15 yards down the field, so that ends up being a 20-yard play. It's 1st and 10 down to the 30-yard line. Only 1 second expired off the clock on that last play. 2:59 left.
First down and 10 from the 49. Lee Richard at the hill. Man in motion, Weber. Handoff, little trouble on the handoff there, and they get maybe a yard if that. And, of course, that can happen when you have a new quarterback come into the game.
And a new offense as well, as this young man ran some scout teams and did some work last year with a different offense. So not only does he have to come into the pressure of a big game like this late in the contest where it hinges, but he's also trying to master, as his teammates are as well, a brand new offense. You can hear the Shaw coaches imploring their players to pick up the pace with just 2.5 minutes left in this game. Shaw needs nothing less than a touchdown.
Coleman on the last carry. Here's Richard again, trying to hand off to Coleman. They might have missed connections there. Richard ended up keeping the ball and then being tackled down for a loss. And a third down play coming up and some long yardage needed for a first down.
And Shaw in dire need. They're gonna take their final timeout here. I would gather they're going to try to buy a little more time and see if they can't get Carey back in the game. With 3rd and 12, here coming up another pivotal play. They're in 4-down territory. It was just under 2 minutes left. They need Carey, but Carey's walking around on the field. You can see him right there. But Shaw now out of timeouts. Curtis with his full allotment of 3. They've got the lead 31-27 with 1:57 left in this game.
And Gerald, I think a tribute to this game is the fine job both of these coaches have done preparing their teams for this game. Hank Tierney of Shaw, and of course J.T. Curtis, the Curtis Patriots, a long year history of winning games, and going to be tough for one of these teams to go home with a loss tonight.
I tell you, this game has been everything it's been cracked up to be. We talked about the supplement that comes out every year in the Times-Picayune. They named this as the #1 game in the metro area for fans to watch. If you're just a fan of high school football, this is the #1 game according to Times-Picayune. And I'll tell you right now, this game is living up to the billing of an exciting game. It looked like Shaw was in control in the first half. Curtis roared back in the second half. They gained the momentum, but Shaw came back, and it's been a war. Make no mistake about it. This game has gone back and forth. It's been a war.
And it's not over yet. 3rd and 12 upcoming for Shaw. 1:57 left in the fourth quarter. 31 for Curtis, 27 for Shaw. Gerald mentioned Shaw had a lead of 27-10 at halftime. Patriots have scored 21 unanswered points here in the second half, but a fumble has given Shaw at least one last opportunity to march down the field. And there you see Carey in the huddle. He's back in there for what will be the biggest play of the game coming up here shortly. Carey talking to his team about what's about to happen here in a 3rd and 12 play. Still in the middle of the timeout. There's the sideline, the John Curtis sideline. Of course, they're concerned as time is just over the 2-minute mark. What a football game. And this is just week 1 of the high school game of the week here on WHNO. I can't imagine what the next few weeks have in store for us.
Delay on the field right now. Hank Tierney complaining about the time on the clock. They've actually added some time on the clock. 2:02 left in this game. He was complaining, got some time put back on the clock after that timeout. And actually, well, they've put a couple of timeouts up on the board for Shaw. I know that's not right. I believe the Eagles are out of timeouts here in the second half.
They are, and Carey barks out the signals, goes back to pass, 3rd and 12, looks into the end zone, fires it up, and it's incomplete.
Overthrown Bellamy. Yeah, Bellamy in triple coverage, as you said, Steve. Overthrows his intended receiver, and the game comes down to this 4th down right here.
Well, Bellamy didn't have much room to move, as you can see by the end of this pass play, as Carey back in the lineup, just sitting out several plays with the injury, fires it into the end zone.
Well, I think everybody in Tad Gormley knows this pass will be coming the way of Bellamy. The question is, how will the Shaw offense really try to disguise this play? Bellamy's going to split out on the left-hand side. He's at the top of your picture.
Here's a 4th down and 12 play with a game on the line. 1:56 to go, 4th quarter. Carey looks over the middle. It's caught and dropped by Bellamy, who actually had a step on the defender that time. Nick Brown and almost got the football, just couldn't hang on.
Well, through traffic, that was exactly what the matchup that Shaw wanted. Carey going to Bellamy. He momentarily had his hands on the ball, just couldn't come down with it, going through some thick traffic in the middle of the field as Carey stops, poised, takes his time, cocks and releases right down the middle, and you can see it there, just not able to hold on to it with a couple of Patriot defenders around him. And John Curtis will take over on downs, 1st and 10.
And that pass was there. That would have been a first down catch had he hold on. Remember what happened last time, though. Patriots up the field, fumble, giving Shaw an opportunity. Now they'll make sure they hang on to the football. Leading 31-27 over Shaw. Wimprine is met at the line of scrimmage, trying to move to his left. And there wasn't much room there as big Darrell Ward cradled him up in a bear hug.
But, of course, Shaw cannot stop the clock. It'll continue to roll with 1:37 left. They can only watch as Curtis will try to run this clock out.
It's 2nd down and 10. Charles said time continues to dwindle now. Most of the faithful have stayed around. We see a few heading out to the exits, having witnessed one exciting high school football game here.
Well, I'll tell you, we've seen some big plays. This one isn't over yet.
Wimprine marks him out on a 2nd and 12 play. He'll hang on to the football, go with it right up the middle to the 36-yard line as time continues to count down. Less than a minute to go in the 4th quarter.
And Shaw should get his hands on the ball one more time as Curtis will be, well, let's see if Curtis will be forced to punt this ball away, because let's assume they get stopped right here. No, they should be able to hold this one. I think Curtis should be able to hold on to this one if I'm doing my math correctly.
And I believe you are. Much better than I was. From the 35, it's 3rd down and 7. Wimprine at the quarterback. He's the candidate for our player of the game. He's been tremendous here.
Yeah, he's going all the way, so I think Wimprine is our player of the game.
He takes the ball, keeps it himself up to the 37-yard line. Less than 20 seconds left in the game. And the Curtis Patriots are going to hang on and win this game by a final of 31-27. Scoring 21 unanswered points in the second half of play when Shaw exploded in a lot of areas in the first half and led at halftime 27-10. What a game. We're going to have our trophy presentation and our post-game wrap-up after this. You're watching the WHNO High School Game of the Week, brought to you in part by Lamarck Motors and WHNO Sports. Curtis defeats Shaw tonight 31-27, and our player of the game is sponsored by D-Max Trophies, located in Metairie at 4435 Chastain Street. For all your trophy needs, visit D-Max Trophies. Let's go down to the field, and our Gerald Duhan is with our D-Max Trophy MVP.
Thanks, Steve. No surprise on the MVP of this game. It's quarterback Danny Wimprine. I'm also here with Coach J.T. Curtis. And, Coach, for Danny's performance tonight, we'd like to present this trophy to you for Danny for the end of the season. He had a great game tonight, one of the outstanding players. Danny, let's talk about the second half. That's when you guys offensively really took charge of this game.
Yeah, we really stepped up. The first half, we didn't really execute. Second half, we stepped it back up. You play 48 minutes, not 24. We made a couple of corrections. The really problem was we didn't execute in the first half, and we came back in the second half and did a real good job. The defense really stepped it up. And we had a lot of fumbles and stuff, but we had to come back tomorrow and make the corrections. It's first game of the year, so, we're going to make mistakes. So we did a good job of coming back and playing.
And you seem to spread the offense around a little bit more in the second half, using your wide receivers as well as your tight end.
Yeah, our wide receivers did a real good job catching the ball, making moves, get the first down. The line did a pretty good job blocking tonight.
Danny, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Heck of a game, Coach. Once again, this game lived up to everything it's supposed to be.
Well, it's a typical Shaw Curtis game, and it down to the last minute. Who's going to win it? Nobody knows. Hard fought. I think both teams grew from the game tonight. Both teams got better. My goodness, if they get much better than that wide receiver and that quarterback that they have, I don't want to see them. They really did a tremendous job, and I know Coach Tierney had those guys in the playoffs and deep into the playoffs because they got that kind of talent.
What are some of the defensive adjustments you made at halftime?
Well, having a veteran coach like Leon calling defenses for you, he maintained his poise. He called his defensive coaches over at the goalpost at halftime and said, let me tell you what we need to do. And they talked about 3 or 4 little things they had to do, went over and talked to the defense, came out and executed them. That's what coaching's about. And the credit really to the defense goes to the whole staff and their ability to get the kids to respond under tremendous adversity.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, Gerald. My pleasure.
Coach J.T. Curtis, the winner this year as Curtis takes it. Back upstairs to Steve.
All right, Gerald, thank you very much. I want to remind our viewers you can tune in to Sports Page this Tuesday night at 6:30 for Saints, Tulane, and LSU highlights, interviews, and features. Curtis at South Lafourche next week.